My love for video games first started developing when I would watch my dad play Battlefield 1942 on his old computer, back when I was about 5 years old. I would sit on his lap or on a chair beside him and just sit in awe. The idea of being dropped into a war zone with a large number of other players and duking it out in shootouts, dogfights, and tank battles, it was all extremely appealing to me. Subconsciously, I was starting to form a passion for gaming at such a young age without even laying a finger on a gamepad or a mouse and a keyboard. Fast forward to when I was about 7, my dad thought that maybe I'd like to try playing with him instead of just watching him. So being the cool dad that he is, he went and got me my very own shitty Windows XP desktop computer, complete with a Dell mouse and keyboard and a terrible Logitech headset. I look back and realize how sucky the equipment was, but I just remember how much joy I felt to have my very own computer at that age. And I'm sure you could predict that the first thing me and my dad did was install the Origin launcher, so I could play some Battlefield with him. And soon enough, I was a little PC gaming addict. I was quick to ask my dad about what games I could play on my computer. And what he told me was the final nail in the coffin to my future relationship with PC gaming. You may be wondering what my dad said that was that last straw. Well, it was more something that he did. My dad went ahead and installed Steam on my computer. And initially, I played games like the Portal series.
Did you know that people with guilty consciences are more easily startled by loud noises? I'm sorry, I don't know why that went off.
And Half-Life. These games would later go on to be my favorite single-player games of all time. But it's a game that I just happened to stumble upon by pure chance that led to me having FPS as my favorite genre, and finding a love for fast-paced, action-packed shooters. And that game was none other than Team Fortress 2. What really grabbed my attention about this game was how unique the concept was at the time. The idea of classes, each with their own different abilities and uses, the cartoony yet pleasant art style that really gives the game life. These things and many more reasons are why I was so drawn to this game. But that's not the reason I stayed. I stayed for all the things that were beyond that surface layer. Joining your first game of TF2 is like jumping into a mosh pit. Everywhere you look, there's fire, explosions, the characters are all screaming and yelling. It's chaotic. There's bullets flying at you, and before you know it, you just got backstabbed by a spy who is invisible in a corner right next to your spawn. You'll soon come to realize that this game is different than others. Turtling isn't a very viable strategy in a game where the objective is either always moving or under attack by an enemy. Unless you're playing CTF, which is a shitty game mode for the most part. You'll eventually class hop a little bit, trying to find something that works for you. Maybe trying the Scout, who can outmaneuver every other class in the game with his speed, or the Heavy, who just has a really big gun. You'll most likely end up sticking to one class that you enjoy though, and slowly you'll begin to improve with this class, and at the same time you'll learn to read through the chaos of a casual TF2 match. You'll understand your role in a payload game, how to position yourself, and what your abilities are most useful for. It's an extraordinary feeling to fulfill your role and help your team secure the objective, no matter what game mode you're playing. Once you reach this point of being able to dissect the game and understand it to a certain degree, you can really start to see the beauty. The classes working in harmony to fight for or protect an objective, the game-changing pushes that you can make with a group of 11-ish randoms in a lobby. Maybe you managed to headshot the heavy medic combo that was slaughtering your team at the final choke point. Maybe you learned a really cool rocket jump technique that allowed you to get an amazing flank on the enemy. You start to fully understand what I mean when I say every class is overpowered. It's because every class can contribute something of equal value to the team, if you play your cards right, of course. Arguably one of the best parts of Source games is the community servers. Although yes, sometimes there can be incredibly toxic players due to the lack of admins on a lot of these servers, they're oddly charming and can really give you an experience of what it means to be in a tight-knit gaming community. Community players tend to be very loyal to one group of servers. They'll usually keep coming back to one server that is a game mode they like or people that they connect with. You start to see real friendships start on these servers. Personally, I played a community game mode that was very niche, and to some incredibly stupid, but 10 to 11-year-old me found great joy in it. Jailbreak. A game mode where there's prisoners on the red team and the guards on the blue team. The guards, who are led by one warden each round, take the prisoners through a series of silly game modes sprinkled throughout these specially made jailbreak maps. The Reds are unarmed and have no choice but to comply and take the risk of dying to an obstacle course or a minefield. Trust me, you cannot try and run away.
Or can you?
So yeah, rebelling in Jailbreak is when you find a way to run away from the guards. You've escaped their merciless torment and now have a chance to rain hell back onto them. Reds have access to secrets throughout every Jailbreak map that allow you to obtain ammo to go.
Beat the crap out of every single one.
Let me tell you, the laughs and good times I had with my brother playing on these servers was unparalleled. We would run off as scouts and just do our best to ruin the blue team's day. And I'm not embarrassed to admit that I started to tear up a little bit writing the script for this video, because I realized how much fun we had, and that this game just brought us closer together. But as I grew even older, I started to find solace in other games that were new, and had just as much promise as TF2 did when I first picked it up all those years ago. I've started to really get into Minecraft, Gary's Mod. I also found a love for rhythm games like Geometry Dash. TF2 was slowly working its way out of my life, and you would think that I might be upset that a game that meant so much to me was no longer a part of my life. But you might be surprised to know that I couldn't be happier, knowing that something so irrelevant to most people out there could bring so much light into my life, especially at that younger age. I look back at those days playing on the community servers and learning to play Spy on casual servers and just thinking how lucky I was to have something to take shelter in. I'm sure every video game player has a similar experience to this, and I hope you all can reflect back to when you were younger, the times when you could come home, turn on a game, and just forget about everything. I know that there are people out there who could only find happiness within a game, which is disheartening, but also enlightening in a way. Video games truly are a gift, no matter what game it was for you. So, after not touching TF2 in my rapidly growing Steam library for the longest time, I decided to finally pick it back up again. I found myself thinking about how badly I wanted to learn to be a good spy back in the day and thought, what the hell, let's play some Spy. I have to say, I'm very happy that I took the time to experience this game again. I went as far as buying some unusuals and Aussies because, well, I'm an idiot. I went back to TF2 expecting the game to be unbelievably dead, but I was pleasantly surprised that this game still rakes in 60,000 plus people a day. Also, I even checked out some community servers and found that Jailbreak is still going strong, which made me very happy to see. My one complaint about coming back to TF2 after all this time is that Valve has kind of forgot about the game. We haven't received a major update in years, and all we have left is the annual Halloween event. And rumor has it that the TF team that works in the game is less than 10 people, which is not a lot at all for a multiplayer game of this size. I mean, you can't blame Valve too much. They have some other cool shit they're doing on the side. VR. And the small number of people managing the game has led to a not very secure security system that has allowed hackers and bots to plague the official TF2 servers. And it has to be the single most annoying thing ever, but hey, the game is still super fun. So I made this video because I wanted to pay homage not only to TF2 specifically, but video games in general for shaping me as the person I am. I wanted to indirectly thank every community member that made these games great, and I want to thank Valve for making such kick-ass games, when they actually do it. And without Team Fortress, I probably wouldn't have the same appreciation I do for first-person shooters. I'd probably only look at it as a brainless genre, shooting at people with no real purpose other than racking up kills. I'm glad I was, and still am, a part of this genre. It's one of the most successful, with thousands of games out there, but each one still manages to have its own charm. And finally, I wanted to make this video just because TF2 rocks, dude. It's such a fun game. And especially because of all the positive memories that I have associated with it. Thank you, TF2. Thank you for everything you've done for me. It really means a whole lot. And one day I'm sure you'll be gone and nobody will play you anymore, but I sure as hell won't forget you.